As an ADHDer, do you ever feel like the world is too distracting these days? Like everywhere you turn, there's another notification, another video, another shiny object that is vying for your attention. Do you ever get the most intense feeling of FOMO? What if I told you that for those of us with ADHD, the struggle is even more intense than the rest of the population? As ADHDers, we are basically walking around with a built-in distraction magnet. And in today's endlessly streaming world, it can feel like the deck is seriously stacked against us. You've got apps, you've got videos, YouTube, articles, posts, social media constantly competing for your focus. And let's be real, with the symptoms of ADHD, the impulsivity and the hyperfocus, resisting those digital temptations can feel next to impossible. It's like our brains are hardwired to chase every flashy stimulus, you know? But here's the thing, we don't have to let the digital world run the show. In this video, I'm going to dive into the invisible battle between ADHD and digital overload. And I'm going to break down exactly how this non-stop content stream messes with our focus and share some of the strategies to help you navigate that chaos. Because at the end of the day, we deserve to feel in control of our attention, not at the mercy of every ping and pop-up. So let's jump in. So it's not just that we're surrounded by digital distractions 24/7. The real kicker is that these social media platforms are literally designed to keep us hooked. I mean, they literally have teams of experts working around the clock to figure out how to make apps, websites, social media platforms as addictive as possible. As an example, take those endless scrolling feeds. There's a reason why they never end. It's because platforms want us to keep on consuming. Every time you can just keep refreshing, to keep chasing that next hit of dopamine. And notifications, every time our phone pings or buzzes, it's a tiny little reward for our brain. It's a little rush of excitement that keeps us coming back for more. And for those of us with ADHD, these design tricks can be especially problematic. Our brains are already wired to crave novelty and instant gratification. So when you combine that with algorithms that are specifically engineered to keep us engaged, it's a perfect storm of digital addiction. And the crazy part is, it's not just about obvious stuff like notifications and autoplay. These platforms are tapping into deep psychological mechanisms, exploiting our natural desire for social connection, validation, and interest. Every like, every comment, every share, it all feeds into this feedback loop that keeps us craving more. So it's no wonder that we find ourselves getting sucked into the social media vortex for hours on end. The good news is, once we start to recognize these design tricks for what they are, we can start to slowly take back control. We can learn to spot the psychological traps and develop strategies to navigate them. Because at the end of the day, we deserve to have a healthy relationship with technology, a relationship that enhances our lives, not consumes it. And that starts with understanding the invisible forces that are shaping our digital habits. So let's talk about what we can do to break free of some of the hooks that social media has. So there are 6 L's to help us break out of this loop. First up, learn. So before you even open up that app or type in that URL, take a second to pause and ask yourself, what do I actually want to get out of this? Maybe you're looking for a specific piece of information, or maybe you're just wanting to check in on your friends, whatever it is, having that clear goal in mind to help you stay on track and avoid you get sucked into the scroll. What is it that you want to learn? Learn what it is that's triggering that reaction to jump online and start looking at social media. The next L is later. This one is all about delayed gratification. So when you come across something interesting, but it's unrelated to your current task, resist the urge to chase that shiny object and simply save it for later. Bookmark it, add it to your reading list, whatever you need to do. The point is that you're not letting it derail your focus in that moment. Then there's lessen the lures. This is where you play defense against all of the sneaky design tricks that we talked about. Turning off notifications, unfollowing accounts that trigger your emotions and impulsivity. Use browser extensions to block distracting ads and pop-ups. Basically, do whatever it is that you can do to minimize the digital temptations that are vying for your attention. Lessening the lure that is coming for you. Next is limits. This is a big one. Setting yourself self-imposed boundaries around when and how long you'll allow yourself to engage with social media and stick to them. Using timers, using your calendar, whatever works for you in setting those boundaries and keeping them there. The key is to be proactive about managing your time, not just reactive. Then there is lump, which is all about batching your digital consumption. So instead of letting social media or consumption bleed into every corner of your day, try to contain it to specific time blocks. So maybe you only check your social media after you finish your work for the day, or maybe you save your online reading for your lunch break, whatever it is. By lumping it all together, you can create some much needed separation between your digital life and your work or your relationship life. The next L is leave it. This is the ultimate power move. Once in a while, give yourself a full-on digital detox. Unplug for a day, a weekend, whatever it is. Switch off your phone, leave your Apple Watch at home, turn off your computer, and go out and do something that is not digital. Unplugging for a day, a weekend, whatever it is that feels doable, but taking a chance to reconnect with the world beyond the screen and remind yourself that there is life outside of the algorithm. You know, this content landscape is not just about watching videos or reading articles. There's also the social temptation to talk with people and connect with people when we are supposed to be doing work, when we're supposed to be doing other things. There's a constant pull at our attention. And, you know, as ADHDers, we can feel like we're on the back foot with a lot of it. So it's really important to be proactive about setting up those boundaries for yourself so that you don't have to feel that temptation all the time. Because the less you feel the temptation, the less likely you are to give into it. And, you know, sometimes you are going to give into it, and that's okay. But being proactive and noticing when it is that you're most likely to jump on Twitter or TikTok or YouTube, whatever it is. And, you know, I know that this is easier said than done. Trust me, I get it. Implementing these strategies is a process, especially when you're up against the combined forces of ADHD and social media. But the thing is, even small steps make a big difference. If you take many small steps, one step at a time, and going towards progress rather than perfection, then these small steps start to impact each other. And over time, these smaller steps start to join up and start to compound into a much bigger, stronger habit. So start small, start with what you've got. Pick one or two of these strategies and go step by step from there. Remember, there are many people like you that have ADHD that are trying to navigate the digital maze. And there's a power in that shared experience. You know, there are times when I still struggle with it. You know, the key to managing your focus is ultimately building yourself a supportive environment. In fact, so much of managing ADHD in general is the power of your environment. You know, think about it. How much harder is it to stay focused when you're surrounded by clutter and chaos and notifications, when your phone is constantly lighting up and your workspace is a mess? There's noises outside, there's people trying to talk to you. But then think about it on the flip side, when you've created an environment that supports your goals and minimizes distractions. You know, setting boundaries with people on when they talk to you if you're trying to work, or putting your phone in the other room, using website blockers. All of these are environmental changes. Proactively setting up these boundaries with yourself and with loved ones about when you're available and when you need to focus. But ultimately, people will get it. You start to surround yourself with people who can understand and who support your efforts to manage your ADHD and help you stay on track. Because the thing is, we don't exist in a vacuum. Our ability to focus and manage our attention is deeply influenced by the environment and the context that we're in, both physical and social and emotional as well. It has an impact on our ADHD symptoms. And, you know, I get it. Speaking to people about making changes with your challenges can be a struggle, because talking about your ADHD, people can see this as you coming up with an excuse to just not make an effort. So if you want a deeper dive into how to handle these conversations, then I'll leave you with this video right here. I'll see you over there.